And we're back. 22 days sober. Hey. So we're almost to the 30-day mark that I originally set for myself. I am going back and forth on whether or not I'm going to go further with that. I have a good friend coming into town next weekend, which will be right at about the 30-day mark for this whole sobriety journey. Originally, I was thinking, yep, I'll go 30 days, and when I get to that point, I'll go ahead and have some drinks that night hanging out with my good friend that'll be in town. That's one of those scenarios, like I said before, I want to get to the point that I'm able to do that on occasion and just not be so dependent upon it where I'm drinking beer every night. That's the biggest thing for me. But now it's like, well, wait a minute, am I going to want to drink on that day? I may not. I don't know. I'm really enjoying the clarity that I have, but I'm going to allow myself to make that decision at the time. So I'm not saying one way or another, but I'm definitely going to go the full 30-day stretch. And then whatever happens that weekend, I'm going to go right back to the way that I've been living now because I'm just so much more clear. And if you follow my my TikTok account, I'm becoming incredibly repetitive because I just keep saying clarity. I'm getting so much clarity, and I'm stacking that clarity on top of itself. More clarity each day just keeps stacking, and yeah, I mean it's pretty awesome. And right now, like. It used to be when I got done with my day, or at some point during the day, I'd be thinking to myself, all right, I got to make sure to get the beer. And factoring it into my budget, like the whole nine, like it was a staple. It had to happen. It was going to happen. There was no fighting it. And I didn't feel like I was a prisoner of it, and I don't even know if that would be the right word to say that you're a prisoner of your vice or whatever. But yeah, it definitely had a stronghold on me for sure. And if you've been following me for a while, I've tried multiple occasions to go days without. But I think that the longest stretch I made in the last couple years was 7 days. Short of that was 4 days, and then there was 3 to 5 times where I went 2 or 3 days or 1 day in that stretch. The rest of the time I've been drinking beer every night, and not just regular beer, IPAs, which, not to be repetitive, but, in case you're a new viewer and you're checking me out, I'm giving you like the cliff notes of stuff. So a couple quick things that I feel has really helped me get to where I finally am off the sauce and I'm not like fiending for it at all. Like I don't even think about it anymore. The biggest staple for me has been the positive self-talk and beginning to believe that I have purpose and believe in my purpose is huge. I think I mentioned that on my last video. But coupling that with positive self-talk to myself, positive affirmations. For instance, the board that I mentioned on my last video, which is right here next to me, I'll show you what that is real quick and utilize technology. All right, here's the board I'm talking about. So you can read that. Obviously, I am valued, I am loved, I am blessed beyond measure, I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am strong, and then the bottom one is I'm on the right path. But when I read it, I'm reading it, I am valued, and then I pause a second, I'm like, I am valued. I am loved. I am loved. So on and so forth. I am blessed. I am blessed. I'm blessed beyond measure. Like, holy shit. Oh, and don't fight the river. What I'm saying? Gotta flow with the current. Sorry for the chair noises. Yeah. So saying it with that feeling and really embodying the emotions of those phrases and really believing it, and I have no reason to not believe it aside from, my childhood and the how I was raised, with my dad being the way he is, narcissistic sociopath. If he ever sees this, that's what you are. I believe that we all have childhood, even my father, everybody. We all have stuff that happened in our childhood, and it's nothing against those people, your parents or whoever's parents, because they were just trying to make do with what they had. They're just trying to navigate this world the way that they were programmed based on their childhood. So, if you don't know, like your first, 3 to 7 years, And then also 7 to 12 years, I think, are the most impressionable times of your life and really aid in formulating who we are as a person when we get older. And it's not to say that we can't go in there and rewrite the code and start living a different way and viewing the world differently, but it's not like just flipping a switch, you know? And I think that for the longest time there, like just trying to quit drinking by itself, I wasn't giving myself the self-love. And we're not talking about the dirty stuff. But now that I am giving myself self-love, you know, and things like that, and then when I go out in the morning, I spend time, you know, talking to God or universe or source, whatever you believe in. That's the other huge pillar I think for me that's really helped, is that I've really started to lean into my relationship, you know, spiritually. And I know that, you know, the Alcoholic Anonymous groups, one of their core pillars is a relationship with God or a spiritual relationship, etc. And, you know, growing up, I always thought of praying as like, please help me pass this test, or please let me get this job, or please let me get $1 million so I can do what I want. Shit doesn't work. But I mean, I think that maybe it's just how I was raised, how we were raised, you know, in this world, like what you come up with seeing on TV shows or movies or whatever. Like you see that a lot. They're praying and saying, help Jimmy get a good job. And Jimmy, if you're watching this, it was just a name that came out. But yeah, that's not the way to pray, right? And now that I realize that the term, it's the same as discipline, right? When I hear the word discipline, I think about how I was disciplined growing up, right? And so it's got a bad ring to it. So it's a tough one for me to tackle, you know, but I also know with all the research that I've done, you know, studying the greats and people that have come from nothing and built big businesses or have, you know, huge influence, it's a big part of the formula. Discipline with, you know, scheduling is a huge thing. Like I need to have everything time blocked. I have things on a schedule, but then there's like dead time where I'm just kind of winging it and like getting work done. But I would be way more efficient if I disciplined myself with schedule and obviously everything else, you know, routine. Now I am doing a lot of good stuff right now. You know, I'm going for walks. I'm eating better. I'm not eating late. I started going to the gym recently. So I'm doing these things, but I haven't implemented like a full-on structure yet. So that's something I'm working on. But prayer is the same thing. You know, growing up for me, I saw it as, you know, what I just, you know, was depicting in those impressions or whatever. Instead of gimme, it's more like I'm just having a conversation with God. Like when I go out for a walk in nature in the morning, I'm just walking and looking at nature and obviously starting off with thank you, you know, because gratitude is a huge thing, another pillar. So maybe I said 2, I don't know where we're at now, 3 or 4, but starting the day with gratitude. And whatever you believe in, whatever religion, whatever God, universe, source, however you cut it, everything that we have in our life on this planet is due to that force providing it for us. You know, sure, we've created some stuff, but we wouldn't have been able to create that stuff if we weren't given what we were given by, you know, the almighty energy source of the universe. So again, prayer for me is more like just a conversation with one of the buddies, one of the boys, one of my dudes, one of my guys. So it's walking, you know, in nature, looking at the water, looking at the palm trees. If you don't have that around you, you can still look at trees and nature and be thankful for the air that we breathe, right? So I run through whatever comes to mind. I do have 4 things that I repeat pretty much every day, and that is thank you for my feeling, thank you for my healing, thank you for my health, and thank you for my wealth. And part of that is changing the way I look at wealth, not money and cars and big house and stuff. Wealth is just being blessed with life and, you know, 2 eyes and fingers and the ability to eat a good meal and have water, whatever our scenario is. You know, like there's things to be thankful for, and that's wealth. And the more we focus in on wealth, the more wealth we come to find. I do believe that good energy brings good energy, right? So if we're in a better mood and we feel better about ourselves, we're going to have more things to feel better about. So to recap, it's been the discipline of implementing self-love, stopping myself when I'm in a negative mood or when I'm in a mood and snapping myself out of it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then right then at that moment, I inject a positive thought about my future. I'm either envisioning my house on the water with a dock and a boat and a truck, you know? I'm not going overboard here with a bunch of different fancy cars and Lamborghinis, etc. I just want, you know, a nice house. I want like a nice 3-2, well-built with a pool and a dock and a truck, you know. And maybe a car, too. Have a truck and a car would be cool. Not necessary, but. And also, I envision helping people, making YouTube content, getting more equipment to make better YouTube content with, and even down to speaking in front of a group of people, you know, like some kind of a seminar or stuff. Like I envision good thoughts about my future in that moment. Whenever I'm in a negative state, you know, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom. And I just reset the whole thing and start thinking about something positive. And it shifts my whole mood and puts me in a good perspective. Or same thing, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I go back to, you know, the board here. And at least if I'm not looking at it, I'm thinking those things. I am valued, I am loved, I am blessed, etc. So that's one thing. And then again, working on my relationship with God, talking to him as if he's on my side, on my team, but not coming to him from a place of lack, or not coming to him from a place of gimme, gimme, gimme. So that's where we're at. I do feel like I'm way more clear-headed than I've been. On top of that, I've lost a lot of weight. I don't know if you can see it in my face, but we're going to keep going down that track. I think I lost like 14 pounds like in the first, I don't know how many days, 14 days or something like that. I'm kind of tracking it, but the big thing I'm tracking is that like 6 months ago, 8 months ago, when I was really bad and just eating a whole bunch of terrible food and drinking all the time, I was up to 263. Holy shit. Now, if you're big like that, I'm not saying anything. Some people, their height dictates that, or their build or their structure dictates that, you know, but you just look at yourself. What's your ideal body weight, you know, and if it's not that, then, you know, there's stuff to work on, obviously. I don't know exactly what my ideal weight is, but I'm shooting for like 220. And then when you start factoring in muscle and stuff like that, I don't know how all that works out. Long story short, I'm at 234 right now, which is fucking nuts. But that's something I'm thankful for. And that's the other thing is I'm really practicing saying thank you, not just in the morning, but if something good comes my way, I'm not just like, yeah, thanks. You know, I'm like, thank you in my head. I'm like feeling it. Thank you. So I've said this a long time ago. This channel is going to go a whole different direction than just battling, you know, sobriety and, you know, battling vices and stuff like that. But that's where I'm at. That's where I'm, you know, coming out of and growing. And I feel like I might as well document it. You know, I learned that from the great Gary Vee a long time ago, a few years back when I first started this. And he said, don't focus on creating, focus on documenting. And so I started just shooting videos on my phone with no added gear, no nothing. Not that I have a shit ton of gear right now, but I've been able to, you know, grow it a little bit. But long story short, it was just documenting the process. And I know too that down the road, when I get to where I'm really thriving and I'm in the best shape of my life and my mind is thinking fully clear, now I'm coming from a place of, dude, I have been there. I have been in that fucking, you know, mess of a mind, you know, shitstorm that leads to all the vices and all the stuff that we don't need to be doing. So anyhow, that's all I got for today. I appreciate you guys tuning in, subscribing. As always, your comments, I love reading them. I love engaging with you guys. So if you have anything to add to this video, please drop a comment below. And if you haven't already, hit the like button and subscribe. And we'll catch up here in a few days when I pass that 30-day mark. All right, thanks. Take care.
Just you white in me again. Just you white. You'll be sorry.